Hi guys, welcome to Sudeep Boss, and I hope you people are all doing good. This video is mainly a reality check to all my students who are preparing for this exam. The reason why I decided to do this video is because mainly I see a lot of my students who are wasting their time in this excuse called preparation for this examination. So I want to just bring some type of an awareness to most of my students who are spending a lot of time in this preparation but not preparing effectively. Now, whatever I say may seem a little harsh, but I would plead for all of you to not take it offensively, and please take my words as a means of self-introspection. One other important thing I want each and every one of you to realize is that you're spending your most productive and youthful years in this preparation. So every minute, every day and every week is very crucial, and what you do today will decide the next 20 to 30 years of your life. So if you want to lead a 30 years of regretful life, then waste your time. But if you want to lead a 30 years of contentful life, have a very precise plan and execute it systematically. Now, to have that contentful life, you don't have to clear this exam. But to have a contentful life, you should have the satisfaction that you gave your best, but something else is there for you, and then move on. But what is very important is to execute satisfactorily to the fullest extent, how much ever you can in this productive period of yours. Alright guys, now let us get to the core discussion, and that is the reality checks to all the UPSC aspirants watching this video. The reality check 1 is job versus full-time preparation. Many of my students believe that just because they are preparing full-time means that they have an advantage over people who are working and preparing. This is completely false. If you look at the last 2 to 3 years of trends, many of the students who are clearing this exam are working or was in service and preparing together. So if you observe the trend, people who are working seem to be doing better compared to those who are full-time preparing for this exam. And the reason for this is job will always give you confidence. Job will always give you security. Job will always reduce anxiety. And the most important is job will teach you how to use the time effectively. If I see most of my aspirants who are working and preparing, they use the time very efficiently. They do not waste even a single minute. Now, every aspirant who's working will always allot 2 blocks of preparation, one in the morning and one in the evening. In the morning, they prepare for 3 hours. In the evening, they prepare for 3 hours. So effectively, every day, they're able to prepare for 6 hours. Now, if you take a full-time aspirant who's preparing for the entire day, they will sit in the library with all the time that they waste and effectively they study, it will all come up to 6 to 7 hours. So irrespective of you're preparing full-time or you're doing a job, you will be able to study for 6 to 7 hours net. So that is what is the effective study irrespective of what you do, full-time or otherwise. So I hope you realize this truth, and the reason why I'm telling you this is many of my aspirants who have written 3 prelims or who have been preparing for this exam for 4 years do not want to join a job because they feel that they are very close to success and hence they don't want to spoil it. Please don't fall into such false notions. If you have written 3 prelims, if you have been preparing for 4 years, that means it is time for you to take up a job and then pursue your preparation. So please, if you have written 3 prelims or if you have been preparing for this exam for 4 or more years, it is time for you to search a job, take a job, do the job, and then prepare for this exam simultaneously. And that is the reality check 1. The reality check number 2 is big books versus basics. I have seen many of my students who have not cleared prelims for many years, but they keep reading big books. I see them carrying those big books to drink tea. I see them carrying those big books to discuss. I see them carrying those big books and reading in the library, but I've seen them also not clearing prelims. Now, I'm not telling that you people are not sincere. I'm only telling that you have digressed from the demands of the exam. Now, the demands of the exam is the basics, and the basics becomes the core and critical part of your success. Many of my students are not strong in their basics. Now, how to assess whether you are strong or weak in basics? A simple methodology is, if you take the prelims cutoff score for general merit, and then if you take your score that you have scored on that particular year, the difference between the prelims cutoff for general merit and your score, the difference should not be greater than 10. For example, if the prelims GM cutoff score is 85, and if you are scoring anywhere between 75 and less than 75, that means that you are not strong in basics. That is the reality, and you have to realize and accept the truth. By accepting the truth, you will be able to correct yourself. So, what to do if you are weak in basics is very, very simple. There are 8 core subjects. Now you will see on the screen the 8 core subjects. The 8 core subjects are, if you see that, you have polity, economy, geography, environment, modern India, science and technology, international relations, and ancient, medieval, and art and culture. Alright, in this 8 core subjects, let us skip international relations because it is very dynamic and you don't get one book. Apart from that, you have 7 core subjects when you can read one book and then write test. So this is what I want you to do. This is how you strengthen your basics. Let us say for polity you have one book, read that book. If it is Lakshmikant, that is fine. So take 7 to 10 days, read polity Lakshmikant completely, and then take 2 full-length subject-wise tests of any institute. It really doesn't matter. When you take the 2 tests of polity after reading Lakshmikant completely, that means in that 2 tests, you should be scoring at least 40% of the marks, which means out of 200, you should be scoring at least 80. Now, if you take any full-length test of any institute, I know that there will always be some abstract current affairs questions in them. There will also be some abstract questions that will come outside Lakshmikant, but I can assure you that out of that 100 questions, there will at least be 40 to 50 questions that will come from basics. So, if you take 2 question papers and if you solve that question papers, you should be getting on an average 80 in every paper. That means your basics are strong. So, like that, validate for every subject by taking the subject, reading a book and taking 2 tests. So, if you can get consistently 80 marks in any question paper for that subject, that means that you are strong in that basics for that subject. So, do this for all the subjects and only then you can assure that you are strong in basics, and this is the reality check 2. Reality check number 3 is the fear of answer writing. Many students who have very high potential, who are very sincere and hardworking, have the fear of answer writing because they develop the friction that whenever they want to write answers, they want to write perfect answers. Remember, perfect answers will never be written. The time to write perfect answers will never come. And if you have that attitude, you're never going to clear this exam, and that is the reality. So, what to do to improve my answer writing is, every day I post 2 questions in my Telegram channel or in my YouTube post, and these questions are known as newspaper capsule. I read the editorials of the Hindu, I create questions, I segregate those questions paper wise, and I will also put the section within the paper which those questions belong to. And I do this on everyday basis for at least 2 editorials and post those 2 questions. Now all you have to do is take that particular question, read the editorial in the Hindu and write the answer. The content is there in the editorial. All you have to do is rearrange that particular format and write it in the form of an answer for the question that I've already given it to you. Now, if you can do this consistently, 2 answers every day in 1 month will give you around 50 answers. So if you can consistently do for 6 months, that is almost 300 issues for which you have written question and answer. Imagine the power that you will have after writing consistently for 6 months. Not only will you have a strong grip over answer writing, you will also have a strong grip over current affairs, which is also the most feared aspect for any aspirant preparing for this exam. So this is the reality check. The reality check is, if you want to improve your answer writing, go to that newspaper capsule and every day consistently write answers for those 2 questions that I post in the Telegram channel or in the YouTube post. Now when you write answers, don't expect to write good answers. It is okay. Read the editorial. Even if you can recollect 30% of what the editorial tells, write that much. If you can write consistently for 6 months, in the 6th month, when you read the editorial and when you want to write the answer, you'll be able to write at least 70% of what that editorial tells, and that is what is incremental improvement, and that is what is the necessity for clearing this exam. And I hope this reality check hits you. The reality check number 4 is the fear of mock tests. It can be mock tests of prelims or it can be mock tests of mains. I've seen many students who have been preparing for this exam for the last 4 years who have not taken a single mock test. This is the ugly truth. The reason why they don't want to take tests is because they fear that by taking tests and scoring less, they'll feel less confident, and they may also develop that insecurity and be judgmental upon themselves. And to circumvent all this, they will make sure that they will not take tests at all. This is a huge mistake in this field of preparation. Please don't commit this mistake. Mock tests are important for 3 reasons. One is, it is important for you to validate how well you have studied, and for that you have to take mock tests. The second important thing is, when you take mock tests, it also becomes an exercise of learning when you go to the synopsis and take the value additions. And the third important aspect in mock tests, which is very, very important, is it allows you to realize your strengths and weaknesses. When you realize your strengths and weaknesses, you can work accordingly to improve yourself so that you can perform better. Mock tests are never taken to mock yourself. Mock tests are never taken to be judgmental or critical upon yourself. Mock tests are taken only to validate yourself whether you are moving in a proper direction. So hence, please make sure that you take mock tests regularly. It is not about the marks, it is about the intent. If your intent is to consistently take mock tests and keep writing it, eventually you will crack the exam. There is no doubt about it. So please, under any circumstances, it can be mains, it can be prelims, whatever it is, your mock test should be taken regularly. Reality check number 5 is dependent planning versus independent planning. Many of my aspirants are dependent on someone else to prepare their plan for them. They are either dependent on the institute, or they are dependent on the mentor, or they are dependent on someone else to prepare the plan for them. Now this is okay, but what usually happens is when an outsider prepares the plan for you, they will not realize your strengths and weaknesses. They will not be able to amend the weightage depending upon your strengths and weaknesses. So they will prepare a very generalized way of planning, and that will hamper your studies. When you prepare your own plan, you will be able to amend that plan so that it suits your strengths and your weaknesses, so that you can overcome your weaknesses and strengthen your strengths even more. And for this, having that independent thinking and independent planning is very important. Now, the moment I say planning, it does not mean that you should have a plan for the entire year. Yes, broadly you should have an idea of what you need to do by the entire year. For example, by the end of this December, you should be completing your mains preparation. So that is the broader plan. So within that broader plan, you should have a monthly plan. That is, what are you going to do from 1 month from today? That is, that 1 month of plan should be very clear. And within that 1 month of plan, divide that month of plan into weekly plans. So this week, what is the exact plan and how are you going to execute should be clear in your mind. And within that weekly plan, what is that you are going to do today should be very, very clear. And you should make sure that you execute those targets precisely. And this is what I told in the beginning, that all the toppers who have emerged from my program always were precise in their targets and executed all those targets flawlessly. Alright guys, I have given you all the reality checks, and I hope you can use those reality checks to introspect yourself. Introspect, and please don't take it as an offense. Try to course correct yourself. Only by accepting the truth, you will be able to course correct yourself, and not by denying it. Many students feel that by the stroke of luck they are going to clear this exam. It is not going to happen. Many students feel that by referring one notes or one institute or one program they are going to clear this exam. That also will not happen. The only way you are going to clear this exam is by pure hard work that is going to come only from yourself. And if that has to come, you have to be having clear vision, you have to have precise targets and systematic planning. And I hope today, one common thread that I find with all the students who have cleared this exam is they always have compassionate hard work and flawless execution. Their hard work is always compassionate, they don't complain, and they are always enthusiastic in what they do, and they execute their plans flawlessly. It can be daily targets, weekly targets, or monthly targets. They execute it flawlessly with no excuse. So, if you are an aspirant who realizes their reality and who course correct yourself, you will become an unstoppable force, and no one can stop you from clearing this exam. Irrespective of what happens, if you are sincere enough, you will truly emerge successful in life, whatever happens in this exam. That I can assure you. Finally guys, I hope you liked the video, and I hope you could relate to whatever I told in this video. And if you could relate even 1% of whatever I have told in this video, I would sincerely request you to comment, to like, and more importantly, please share this video with all your friends, because this is a necessity for all the aspirants preparing across this country to realize the realities of this exam and introspect themselves. If that is so, please do your job of sharing this video with as many students as possible. Thank you so much for all the love and support guys. I'll always be coming up with such innovative ways to keep inspiring you, motivating you, and making sure that you're focused for the exam and doing exactly what is needed for this exam. I'll meet you again. Thank you so much. Bye.